Shalom and blessings, warriors of Yahuah and the truth. We are continuing on in the CEPHER Millennium Edition. If you have this one, you can follow along with me. We are on 1 Maccabees 5. 1 second. I just had to check my sound settings real quick to make sure that the microphone is working correctly, and it is. So let's get started. 1 Maccabees 5. Now when the nations round about heard that the altar was built and the sanctuary renewed as before, it displeased them very much. Wherefore they thought to destroy the generation of Yahuah that was among them, and thereupon they began to slay and destroy the people. Then Yahudah fought against the children of Esau in Edom, at Arabatim, because they besieged Gaal, and he gave them a great overthrow and abated their courage and took their spoils. Also he remembered the injury of the children of Bayan, who had been a snare and an offense unto the people, in that they lay in wait for them in the ways. He shut them up before in the towers and encamped against them, and destroyed them utterly, and burned the towers of that place with fire, and all that were therein. Afterwards he passed over to the children of Ammon, where he found a mighty power and many people with Timotheus, their captain. So he fought many battles with them, till at length they were discomfited before him, and he smote them. And when he had taken Yazar with the towns belonging thereto, he returned into Yahudah. Then the heathen that were at Gilead assembled themselves together against Yasharal that were in their quarters to destroy them. But they fled to the fortress of Dathima, and sent Sepharim unto Yahudah and his brethren. The heathen that are round about us are assembled together against us to destroy us, and they are preparing to come and take the fortress whereunto we are fled, Timotheus being captain of their hosts. Come now, therefore, and deliver us from their hands, for many of us are slain. Yea, all our brethren that were in the places of Todah are put to death. Their women and their children also have carried away captives, and borne away their stuff, and they had destroyed there about 1,000 men. While their Sepharim were yet reading, behold, they came other messengers from Galilee with their clothes rent, who reported on this wise, and said, they of Acco, and of Sor, and of Sidon, and of Galilee, and of the other nations, are assembled together against us to consume us. Now when Yahudah and the people heard these words, there assembled a great assembly together, to consult what they should do for their brethren, that they were in trouble, and assaulted them. Then said Yahudah unto Shimon his brother, choose you out men, and go and deliver your brethren that are in Galilee. For I and Jonathan my brother will go into the country of Gilead. So he left Joseph the son of Zechariah and Azariah, captains of the people, with the remnant of the host in Yahudah to keep it, unto whom he gave commandment, saying, take ye the charge of this people, and see that ye make not war against the heathen until the time that we come again. Now unto Shimon were given 3,000 men to go into Galilee, and into Yahudah 8,000 men for the country of Gilead. Then went Shimon into Galilee, where he fought many battles with the heathen, so that the heathen were discomfited by him. And he pursued them unto the gate of Acco, and there were slain of the heathen about 3,000 men, whose spoils he took. And those that were in Galilee and in Arbadas, with their women and their children, and all that they had, took he away with him, and brought them into Yahudah with great joy. Yahudah Maccabee also, and his brother Jonathan, went over the Yarden, and traveled 3 days' journey in the wilderness, where they met the Nabathim, who came unto them into a peaceable manner, and told them everything that had happened to their brethren in the land of Gilead, and how that many of them were shut up in Basra and Beor and Alima, Casphor, Maged, and Ashtaroth, Karnaim. All these cities were strong and great, and that they were shut up in the rest of the cities of the country of Gilead, and that against tomorrow they had appointed to bring their hosts against the forts, and to take them and to destroy them, all in one day. Hereupon Yahudah and his hosts turned suddenly by the way of the wilderness unto Basra, and when he had won the city, he slew all the males with the edge of the sword, and took all their spoils, and burned the city with fire. From whence he removed by night, and went till he came to the fortress. And early in the morning they looked up, and behold, there was an innumerable people bearing ladders and other engines of war to take the fortress, for they assaulted them. When Yahudah therefore saw that the battle was begun, and that the cry of the city went up to Shamayim, or heaven, with shofars and a great sound, he said unto his host, Fight this day, or this yom, for your brethren. So he went forth behind them in 3 companies, who sounded their shofars and cried with prayer. Then the host of Timotheus, knowing that it was Yahudah Maccabee, fled from him, wherefore he smote them with a great slaughter, so that they were killed of them that day about 8,000 men. This done, Yahudah turned aside to Mitzpah, and after he had assaulted it, he took and slew all the males therein, and received the spoils thereof, and burnt it with fire. From thence went he, and took Casphor. From thence went he, and took Casphor, Maged, Beor, and other cities of the country of Gilead. After these things gathered Timotheus another host, and encamped against Raphon beyond the brook. So Yahudah sent men to espy the hosts, who brought him word, saying, All the heathen that be round about us are assembled unto them, even a very great host. He has also hired the Arabim to help them, and they had pitched their tents beyond the brook, ready to come and fight against you. Upon this Yahudah went to meet them. Then Timotheus said unto the captains of his hosts, When Yahudah and his hosts come near the brook, if he passes over first unto us, we shall not be able to withstand him, for he will mightily prevail against us. But if he be afraid and camp beyond the river, we shall go over unto him and prevail against him. Now when Yahudah came near the brook, he caused the scribes of the people to remain by the brook, unto whom he gave commandment, saying, Suffer no man to remain in the camp, but let all come to the battle. So he went first over unto them, and all the people after him. Then all the heathen, being discomfited before him, cast away their weapons, and fled unto the temple that was at Ashtaroth Karnaim. But they took the city, and burned the temple with all that were therein. Thus was Ashtaroth Karnaim subdued, neither could they stand any longer before Yahudah. Then Yahudah gathered together all Yasharal that were in the country of Gilead, from the least unto the greatest, even their women and their children and their stuff, a very great host, to the end they might come into the land of Yahudah. Now when they came unto Ephron, this was a great city, in the way as they should go, very well fortified. They could not turn from it, either on the right hand or the left, but must needs pass through. These were ready at every occasion. Pass through their midst of it. Sorry. The pages were stuck together. Then they of the city shut them out, and stopped up the gates with stones. Whereupon Yahudah sent unto them in peaceable manner, saying, Let us pass through your land to go to our own country, and none shall do any hurt to you, or none shall do you any hurt. We will only pass through on foot. Howbeit they would not open unto him. Wherefore Yahudah commanded a proclamation to be made throughout the host, that every man should pitch his tent in the place where he was. So the soldiers pitched and assaulted the city all that day, and all that night, or Yom and Lila, till at the length of the city was delivered into his hands. Who then slew all the men with the edge of the sword? You see, in a sense, oh. Who then slew all the males with the edge of the sword, and razed the city, and took the spoils thereof, and passed through the city over them that were slain. After this they went over the Yarden into the great plain before Bet-San. And Yahudah gathered together those that came behind, and exhorted the people all the way through, till they came into the land of Yahudah. So they went up to Mount Sion with joy and gladness, where they offered ascending smoke offerings, because not one of them were slain until they had returned in peace, or Shalom. Now, what time, as Yahudah and Jonathan were in the land of Gilead, and Shimon his brother in Galil before Acho, Yosef the son of Zachariahu and Azariahu, captains of the garrisons, heard of the valiant acts and warlike deeds which they had done. Wherefore they said, Let us also get us a name, and go fight against the heathen that are round about us. So when they have given charge unto the garrison that was with them, they went toward Gavnaal. Then came Georgius, and his men out of the city to fight against them. And so it was that Yosef and Azariahu were put to flight, and pursued unto the borders of Yahudah. And there were slain that day of the people of Yasharal about 2,000 men. Thus was there a great overthrow among the children of Yasharal, because they were not obedient unto Yahudah and his brethren, but thought to do some valiant act. Moreover, these men came not unto the seat of those by whose hand deliverance was given unto Yasharal. Howbeit the man Yahudah and his brethren were greatly renowned in the sight of all Yasharal, and of all the heathen wheresoever their name was heard of, so much so as the people assembled unto them with joyful acclamations. Afterwards went Yahudah forth with his brethren, and fought against the children of Esau in the land towards the Negev, where he smote Chevron and the towns thereof, and pulled down the fortress of it, and burned the towers thereof round about. From thence he removed to go into the land of Pelishtim, and passed through Shamron. At that time certain priests, desirous to show their valor, were slain in battle, for that they went out to fight unadvisedly. So Yahudah turned to Ashdod in the land of the Pelishtim, and when he had pulled down their altars and burned their carved images with fire and spoiled their cities, he returned into the land of Yahudah. Next time we will be going into 1 Maccabees 6. I've only been doing one chapter each time because each chapter is pretty long in this section. But I'm going to be reading 1, 2, and 3 Maccabees for you guys. I hope you guys enjoyed the lesson today. I'm just going to do a quick thank you to Yahuah, because it is my favorite part. My throat is bugging me a little bit today, but it's not as bad as my husband's throat is today. All right, ready? Todah, Rabah, Abba, Yahuah. Todah, Rabah, Abba, Yahuah. Hallelujah, hallelujah, Yahuah. Hallelujah, hallelujah, Husha. Hallelujah. Ruach HaKodesh. I love you all with an everlasting love, as our Abba Yahuah and the Shamayim loves each and every one of us. Shalom and blessings, warriors of Yahuah and the truth.